Hi, I'm Betty LaMarr, and I would like to welcome you to this special edition Medical Talk on cable tonight. I'm your host, Betty LaMarr. We have a good show lined up for you tonight because this is the season to be happy. This is the season to be thankful. And I have many people I would like to thank, starting with Comcast. Comcast made it very possible for me to host Medical Talk. And so that is the beginning of my thanks. And I would also like to thank Methodist LaMarr Healthcare. Methodist LaMarr Healthcare has always been there for me. Anytime I've needed a doctor or a medical professional, Methodist LaMarr Healthcare has been there for me. And as you all know, Methodist is all about your health and wellness. And so am I. And to start with that, I would like to just give thanks to just a few of the medical professionals that are with us here on cable tonight. I want to start with Dr. Joseph Santoso. Dr. Joseph Santoso is a gynecologic oncologist. And what I learned from him is the connection between overweight and obesity. Yes, there is a connection between overweight, obesity, and cancer. Yes, there is. You know, we normally don't connect cancer and overweight. But when you think about it, it's what we eat, it's what we drink, it's a lifestyle. You know, I remember years ago, I was a little bit heavier than I am. I think I went up to a size 12 before. And I realized it wasn't good for my health. Even though I am 6 feet 1 inches tall, I still felt a little bit comfortable. So what I did, I stopped bringing sodas into my home. There are no sodas in my home. As with Dr. Santoso's advice, I have only water at home. And we're so fortunate, in Memphis to have an aquifer. Our water is in the ground and it's filtered. We have the best water in the world. Really, I don't care if you drink bottled water or if you drink tap water. But remember, if you can't afford bottled water, you're not missing a thing. Because Memphis, we're fortunate in Memphis and this country to have the best water, I think, in the United States of America. So drink water. Get away from the Cokes, as Dr. Santoso called them, just drinking sugar water. Let's get away from that. And sometimes I see little children that walk with 20-ounce sodas. They walk around with 20-ounce sodas. The sodas are bigger than they are. So what do you think if you start your children out at 2 years old? In some cases, we're putting in the baby's bottles. So what do you think is going to happen when that child gets a little bit older? We're talking about overweight, and we're talking about obesity. And after talking about overweight and obesity, can't help but to go into another favorite show that I did, diabetes.
AM Diabetes Education Program. Comprehensive Diabetes Education class. Learn about diabetes and self-management skills to live well with diabetes, including diet, exercising, stress management, coping, and medications. Our session includes carb counting to learn the effects of protein, fat, and carbohydrates on blood glucose, and how to monitor and control diabetes when you're sick.
So they educated us so much. And one thing that I learned, and it was really important, and you should know this too, type 2 diabetes is simply a lifestyle change. If you don't want type 2 diabetes, start working out, walk, get up. As Michelle Obama says, move, do something. And it's amazing how you can change type 2 diabetes and get yourself off of medication. We are a society of people that live off of medication. It's easier to go to the doctor and get a pill than to exercise. I have something that I like. I like to run. I like to walk. At first, I'm going to be honest with you. At first, I started walking. I started power walking and decided, well, okay, if I can walk a block, I can jog a block. And it wasn't easy, but I wanted to be in great health. So you do what you have to do. So I started running a block, walking a block, and before I knew it, I was jogging 2 blocks, and I felt really good, because when you out there on the river, and I'm one of those downtown kind of girls, so I like to run around the river, and I would always feel bad, there were people that would jog by you, and, they look at you like, you're amateur. So I started jogging, and I noticed the joggers always, give you the high five or whatever on the way. And I said, okay, that's a really good thing. So I watch what I eat. It's very important to me, what I eat.
AM Diabetes Center's nutrition program. Steps to reach your diabetes goals. 5 tips for cooking and eating at home. Like to cook? We've got a few tasty tips for you. Love spaghetti and meatballs? How about making it with turkey instead? Forget about frying. Instead, try broiling, microwaving, baking, roasting, steaming or grilling. Tip 2. Spice it up. Sprinkle your chicken with lemon pepper or mesquite seasoning. Liven up meat and vegetables with garlic. Tip 3. Go low on dairy. Dairy can still be part of your day. Just look for non-fat or low-fat items. If you can, stick with fat-free milk and yogurt. And if you love ice cream, make it low-fat or choose frozen yogurt. AM Diabetes Center Nutrition Program.
Sugar, cutting sugar and processed foods. I don't remember the last time I had white bread in my home. And I had to admit to Dr. Santoso, I still like sugar in my coffee. So I buy the sugar in the raw. As a matter of fact, I know most of this stuff is very expensive, but Dollar Tree now has sugar in the raw. So go by Dollar Tree and find the sugar in the raw. It really tastes good. It makes your coffee taste really awesome. And I like cream, so I try to buy cream, non-dairy cream, and I buy skim milk. So what I'm saying is that if you're really determined to do the best and be the best that you can be for the rest of your life, you're going to do what you have to do. It all takes discipline. It's all about discipline. And I personally feel a lot better about myself, being my present size. And not only with the walking and running, I went to, I believe it was Walgreens, and I bought a blood pressure little meter, a cup. So I checked my blood pressure, and it's normally around 120/80. But if it gets up around 135, because sometimes, hey, let's face it, we stress. We go through things, as the diabetes educators say, stress. And let's just talk about stress. When I stress a little bit, I may have had a busy day, and as a lot of you know, the bills may be due. I notice my blood pressure may just be a little bit more than normal. But what I do about that, I put on my running shoes and I take a run downtown. It doesn't have to be far. Run from one end of Main Street to the other. And I come home, settle down, check my blood pressure, and bam, it's down. That's how simple it is for blood pressure. And it amazed me how many people now, with working in the medical industry, are having strokes and heart attacks.
Sure. Heart attack is basically, it can have a wide range of symptoms, and the symptoms can range from a slight chest discomfort that a lot of people ignore, and their treatment is delayed and they suffer irreversible damage to their heart. and sometimes chest discomfort. At other times, they have the classic angina, which is a band-like sensation around your chest, like you feel like you're being tied in a band around your chest, and that band keeps squeezing, and that's a classic symptom. Then some people can have a feeling of an elephant sitting on their chest. So symptoms of chest pain, chest pressure. Sometimes in women you can have atypical symptoms like back pain, shoulder pains, arm pains, and even neck pains or jaw pain has been associated with the heart attack. So in a nutshell, I would say anything that is related to exertion and happens from your chin all the way down to your belly button and happens with exertion, goes away with rest, likely related to your heart, needs further investigation.
I've had people to say to me, well, Betty, you know you're going to die from something. Yeah, we're going to die from something, but, you know, if I can choose, I would prefer to lay down and just go to sleep. I don't want to suffer because I've eaten all the wrong things all of my life. And I've heard you all say to me also, well, I had a family member to live to be 102 that just ate everything, ate anything they wanted to eat, ate all the bad foods.
Watch this space for more conversations with Betty LaMarr, and be sure to subscribe to Betty's YouTube channel, Betty LaMarr Memphis, to view more great shows. Now, back to Betty.
I also have a hula hoop, and so when the weather is bad, I don't have an excuse. If I'm going to sit up and watch TV for 30 minutes, you know, we like, you know, The Young and the Restless and ID, and for those of you that like to watch Medical Talk, you know, you watch me. Even now, you can have your hula hoop, and you can, you know, you can hula hoop. And I must admit, I ran out of the house and running a little bit late because of traffic, and I left my hula hoop at home. But a hula hoop is wonderful because, number one, girls, it makes you feel very youthful. You feel very youthful. You feel like you felt when you were a little girl. Most women that find out that I hula hoop, the first thing they say is, oh, I remember doing that when I was a little. But that's what it's all about. It's all about feeling good about yourself. You know, medically speaking, I think that when you feel good about yourself, you feel wonderful. You want to hula hoop, you want to run, you want to play. Because at some point, and I don't know when that happened, but at some point in our life, we decided that we're grown up now, so we don't have to have fun anymore. Yes, we can. I love to have fun. You know, I enjoy having fun. There's nothing more fun, ladies, than putting a hula hoop around your waist and feeling like that little girl that you felt like when you was young. Now, I'm going to go to the next show that I really enjoyed. I talked to Dr. Rye Estep. She's an OBGYN doctor. And we talked about, you know, this new law that women that have babies that are on drugs would be prosecuted, would possibly go to jail if their babies are born sick or dead. But you know, I understand that. But if you're going to prosecute women that are on meth, that are on crack, that are on heroin, which is usually poor women, what about the babies that are born with fetal alcohol syndrome? What about those babies? Is that a different class of people? What about the woman that's that's drinking wine at dinner and pregnant? Should those women not be prosecuted as well? What about the women that smoke? You'll be amazed at the women that I see in labor, sitting outside hospitals smoking cigarettes. What about those women? Why can't we prosecute those women? They are also hurting babies. I'm not for, it's a thing whereas if you hurt the baby, you hurt the mother. I don't know what we're going to do, but I know this. Most of the people that promote women having the babies regardless, I never see any of those people step up and say, I'll feed that child. When those children come into the world and you've incarcerated their mother, who's going to take care of the child? They're going to foster care. They're going to end up with someone that's probably going to abuse them anyway. So what do? I think there has to be a better way. We've all found out that putting jail doesn't change a thing. Most people that go to jail commit crime and go back. So what is jail going to do? Whatever happened to rehab? Whatever happened to rehabilitating people? What about rehabilitating those mothers and helping those mothers? Okay? So we need to think about a lot of that. And Dr. Rod Estep also talked about the importance of contraception. And a lot of women have children. And there's one thing, ladies, we do not have to have babies unless we want to. And I am a prime example of that. And I have friends that are of the tender young age that I am. We chose not to have babies because we chose not to be married. And we decided this: if I'm not going to be married, if I'm not going to offer the best in the world to my child, I'm not going to have a child. And there's no such excuse as I made a mistake. Ladies, you know how to get pregnant. If you wasn't, God forbid, raped or something as awful as that, when you did what you did, you knew what you was going to come up with. So let's stop all of that. If I have to personally go to the government to say I'm pregnant, give me housing, give me food, give me anything, first of all, what that says to me is that I wasn't prepared to have a baby. If I can't put my child in the best school, I don't need a baby. So contraceptives is very important. And actually, if you go to places like Planned Parenthood and Choices, they will pretty much give you what you need if you don't want to have a baby. After baby, okay? We have to think about the future of our children, okay? It's very important. So go get yourself some contraceptives and do the right things. Also, of course, we had Dr. Kendra T. Jones. And I always say Dr. Kendra T. Jones put the Z in Zumba. She's all about, being physically fit, taking care of yourself. Everything goes back to eating right, doing the right things, making the right decisions, because you are what you think you are. You are what you think you are. And what you put in is what comes out. So you have to remember that. We are what we think we are. If you think you are a successful person, you are a successful person. I remember when I was a little girl in Sardis, Mississippi, working on J.Q. West's farm. I love working in the big house because I had the opportunity to touch all the beautiful antiques because, back in those days, there was the color water fountains, the white water fountains, and, we went in through the back door. And I never will forget Mrs. West telling me one day, I was rubbing on the antiques, loving beauty. I've always loved beauty and opulence. I always want to live around it, and I work very hard to do so. And she told me something, and this is very important, because what people tell you, what people, it's almost like feeding you. I would never forget, that Miss West told me, she said, Betty, when you become a big girl, you're going to have a bigger house than mine. You're going to have more beautiful things than I have ever had. And I'm looking at this woman that was very, very rich. And remember, being in Sardis, Mississippi, and being a black girl, I felt like, wow, she must really see something in me. But the key thing is that I believe that. I always believe that. And I remember my grandmother having this little radio, because that's all we had then was a radio. And I just couldn't wait for Sunday morning. So she would cut the radio on because she was all about the gospel. It's not that I was about the gospel. I just wanted the radio to be on. And I knew that I was going to be one day that voice in the box. And I'm telling you this because it's all what's between your ears. You have to believe. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that whatever you feel, whatever you center yourself to be, whatever you vision yourself to be, that is what you can be. So I just remember saying, I'm going to be a voice in a box when I grow up. And I thank, going back to being thankful, I thank KWAM 990 for giving me the opportunity at the radio station to be that voice in the box. I've never really believed in anything that I didn't achieve. I remember being at Comcast, back then was Time Warner, and one of the producers came to me and asked me if I wanted to produce my own show. Remember, it's all about you are what you think you are. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't want to tell him that, so I told him that with you. Like Sarah Palin, let me call on my friend. Let me talk to, find my lifeline, in other words. So I looked in the dictionary and I found out what it was to produce. It's like you have a blank canvas, Betty, and we're going to let you put anything on that blank canvas that you want to put on that blank canvas. So I decided, yes, I could do that, because Mrs. West always made me feel like I could be and do anything that I want to be and do. So I'm telling you this, wherever state you are in your life, that is because of what you think. Whatever you want to be, think it, see it, believe it, okay? I would not be here right now hosting a medical talk show if I didn't believe it. I had to believe it first, and after I believe it, what? I'm here. I'm here. So if you see yourself in dire consequences, you will be in dire consequences. Now, right now, I'm going to tell you what I see.
Hi, I'm Angelica reporting live from LaMarr Productions in East Memphis. Thanks for watching Let's Talk with Betty LaMarr. Betty is renowned for her successful medical talk show, and now you're invited to watch the space for her new production, Let's Talk, which is laser focused on issues affecting young girls and women in the community. Now, back to Let's Talk with your host, Betty LaMarr.
I see with even more medical talk. I have the Tennessee Donor Foundation lined up to be with me. We're going to talk about mental illness.
AM Diabetes Center services. Behavioral health is virtually synonymous with mental health, but it broadly encompasses all aspects of mental health disorders, health education, psychotherapy, and substance abuse. With a dedication to providing holistic care, Dr. Lateef and the team at AM Diabetes and Endocrinology Center in Bartlett, Tennessee, offer a range of behavioral health services to support your diabetes management.
We're going to talk about depression, anxiety. We're going to talk about prostate health. We're going to talk about healthcare. We're going to talk about heart disease. We're going to talk about all of these things. Did you know that pancreatic cancer is on the top of the list now? We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about breast cancer.
Host Betty LaMarr invites you to tune in for the Eye on Memphis talk show. Eye on Memphis, wall-to-wall conversations with top doctors, community leaders, and people just like you, focused on the health and everyday human conditions in the Bluff City.
We're going to talk about everything, so it's going to be a big year for us. And if you have medical concern that you are interested in, email me, the Betty LaMarr Show at gmail.com, the Betty LaMarr Show at gmail.com, because you may be dealing with lupus. You may be dealing with sleep apnea. Whatever it is that you want me to cover on Medical Talk, again, I thank Comcast for giving me the opportunity to be here to talk Medical Talk with you. Don't forget HIV/AIDS. We have HIV/AIDS coming to you, because a lot of you are out here living like it's 1999.
Talk to us about the statistics, if you will, of women that are living with HIV disease.
Okay, all right, I'll start out by saying I'm Dr. Mary Bernard. I'm the co-owner and a provider at Spirit Health Medical, where we provide primary care to anyone, but we specialize in HIV. Women in HIV, oh my God, you just stepped all over me there.
Okay.
My platform is prevention.
Okay.
I believe that Black women are at the greatest risk for developing HIV, for contracting HIV.
Okay.
And they can protect themselves, but most of them don't know it.
Okay.
Because as you say, the commercials don't indicate that it's a problem for women. It looks
Right.
like it's just a problem for same gender loving men.
Is it as prevalent for white male or female as it is in the Black community?
No. As a matter of fact, with the prevalence now, if you look at it like a big pie,
Okay.
about 75% of new cases are in people of color, and that's people brown and Black people. Only 25% are in whites. And when you look at those numbers, it's mostly Black men, but Black women or women of color also impacted too. White people are not nearly as impacted by HIV as Black people.
Why?
I knew y'all were going to say that.
Is there a study as to why that is the case?
Let me tell you some things that have been impeding. One, the Bible Belt. We don't want to talk about sex.
Yes.
Yes.
We don't want to talk about sex, and we certainly don't want to talk about same gender loving sex.
Medicine has come a long way. We know that. And a lot of people are walking around here with HIV/AIDS and they're looking healthy. So HIV/AIDS is on my list of shows. Matter of fact, it's number one for the next season of Medical Talk. I have thoroughly enjoyed being here with you this evening. I thank all of you for watching this show. Everywhere I go, I meet people that says, Betty, I enjoy your show. I love your show. I learn so much. I thank you for having the doctors on, because when I go to the doctor, you ask the questions that I'm always afraid to ask. And that's what this show is all about. Medical Talk, where we keep it plain and simple. I'm looking forward to seeing you all the second Tuesday of every month. So I'm looking forward to seeing you on the second Tuesday of next month. I would just like to say that to all my friends and my family that have me, that has always uplifted me, that has always said, Betty, you can do it. You are a star, you are an entertainer, you go out there and you give it. And I try to give it every week.
Thanks for listening to Conversations with Betty LaMarr. Visit our website, www.thebettylamarrshow.com. Email betty@thebettylamarrshow.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Betty LaMarr Memphis.